Hi, welcome to the Innovation and Opportunity Virtual Conference Resource Library. My name is Dr. Matt Means. I am the NASA SBIR and STTR program's post-phase 2 workstream lead. In this presentation, I'll be providing an overview of the Civilian Commercialization Readiness Pilot Program, or CCRPP mechanism. Note that this is being recorded as of September of 2020, and this is an educational overview on the mechanism. For official details, rules, and regulations of the CCRPP mechanism, please refer to sbir.nasa.gov and the section on CCRPP there. That is where the official policy resides for this mechanism. What is the mission of the SBIR and STTR program? We are seeking to create opportunities through our awards to leverage small business knowledge and technology developments for maximum impact and contribution. And we are seeking to empower small businesses to deliver innovations that contributes to NASA's missions, provides societal benefits, and grows the U.S. economy. We do that via our phased approach, phase 1, phase 2, and then phase 3 and beyond. However, we also run a number of post-phase 2 opportunities to help this transition, the CCRPP mechanism being one of them. Note that in the resource library, there is also an overview on the phase 2E mechanism, and we'll be discussing all of our mechanisms at the Innovation and Opportunity Virtual Conference. Again, note that this is being recorded in September of 2020. In the future, these mechanisms may change, or we may have additional mechanisms. Please sign up for our newsletter and refer to the website for any evolutions of these mechanisms that might occur. So what are the purpose of these post-phase 2 mechanisms? These are intended to serve as a transitional mechanism to help mature technologies so that they can then be infused and commercialized to NASA missions, programs, projects, the industry. Some of these mechanisms also serve to accelerate these developments to a very clear near-term need. CCRPP is one of them. So as I've mentioned, our website is where the official rules and application requirements lie for our mechanisms. You go to the About SBIR STTR tab, and you can go to the Post-Phase 2 Initiatives page there for more details. If you are a potential outside investor and you are seeking to find information about firms who might be able to apply to these mechanisms, in the Schedule and Awards tab, you can go to the Awards search function and search our past portfolio of Phase 2 awardees. In that, you will be able to find abstract information and contact information for those firms. So what is the objective of the CCRPP mechanism? This mechanism seeks to accelerate near-term transition of SBIR and STTR developed technologies to infusion or commercialization cases. Again, near-term transition accelerated to those cases. We are not looking for an incremental improvement in technology maturation alone. We're looking for that near-term transition. How this works is this is based on completed phase 2s. The small business must seek out non-SBIR or STTR investor funds, and our program will match those funds in a 1-to-1 ratio if selected. The firm will have to compile a proposal and a statement of work and a budget according to that level of funding and timeline, and justify how that accelerates near-term transition of their technology and to what cases. Note that in the broadest sense, commercialization is the process of developing products or services for sale to or use by the federal government or commercial markets. So I will refer to infusion and or commercialization here separately from the broadest sense of fusion into a NASA program is a subset of commercialization. So who can apply for CCRPP? As I mentioned, this has to be based on prior completed phase 2s. Firms who will be eligible for the fiscal year 21 application period, which is the upcoming application period as of the time recording, has to fall in one of these below cases. Note that in future cycles, this may change. Again, please refer to the website for the latest information on the latest cycle. So the first subset is completed NASA SBIR Phase 2 awards, resulting from Phase 1 awards starting in program year 2010 or later meaning more recent, and whose base Phase 2 period performance is complete by December 7th, 2020. Note that if your Phase 2 contract has received the Phase 2E option enacted, which has extended the period of performance, we will not require completion of that extended option period, only the base period. So your typically 2-year base period must be complete in order to apply for CCRPP, but your option is not required to be completed. We are also considering ongoing or completed NASA SBIR STTR Phase 2 sequential awards from fiscal year 2019 to present. So if you have received a Phase 2 sequential awardee, you are also eligible to apply for CCRPP. Lastly, we are also considering other government agency awards. So again, these must be completed phase 2s, issued in fiscal year 2011 to present, but they must have a stated application pertinent to NASA's objectives. This can't be development solely for that external customer. This is still a NASA SBI or STTR program funded award, so it must have a NASA application, but this can be a sourcing from an other government agency originated phase 2 award. Firms must also have not yet received a CCRPP or CRP award from any federal agency for the phase 2. Note that you can only receive one CCRPP or CRP award from a specific phase 2 contract. If you have multiple phase 2 contracts, you could have a CCRPP coming off different phase 2 contracts, but if there is a singular phase 2 contract or award that has already received a CCRPP or CRP as a follow-on from NASA or another agency, you are not eligible to reapply for another one. Firms must also secure an investor who are willing to contribute matching funding to the maturation of the technology. They must be external to the SBIR and STTR programs. This can include other companies, venture capitalists, individual investors, or non-SBIR or non-STTR government programs, or any combination of the above. So you can have NASA projects or programs or other government agency programs be an investor, that is allowed. It just cannot be from an SBIR award. It has to be someone else's funds. You also can have any combination of the above. You can have multiple investors to meet the minimum or reach the maximum. Note that external investors cannot include the owner of the small business, their family members, or affiliates of small business as defined in the Code of Federal Regulations. Again, more details are on the sbir.nasa.gov website. For the upcoming fiscal year 21 call, again, this is being recorded in September of 2020, the application period is from October 26, 2020 through December 7th, 2020. We anticipate a period of performance of approximately 24 months if awarded. That's what the schedule should be based on. The minimum non-SBIR STTR funding required is $500,000, and the maximum contribution that we will match up to in a 1-to-1 ratio is up to $3 million. Again, you are welcome to exceed that value, but we will only match up to $3 million if accepted. And again, you can have multiple investors. When and how to apply. So again, October 26th to December 7th of this year, 2020. You can see the CCRPP website on sbir.nasa.gov for full details. Your application will require investor-provided letters of commitment. Multiple investors will mean multiple letters. You must have a technical application, and the details are on the website, which includes a commercialization plan, as commercialization is an important aspect of this. There is also a required budget that will cover what the total cumulative investment from us and the investor will cover. We're also looking for additional documentation, content, certifications, information, all detailed on the website. We accept applications through the electronic handbook, the submissions aspect, and you can see that link to take you there. In the next few slides, it will go into deeper details on some of the investments, the requirements thereof, and some common questions and answers. Again, there are many more details on our sbir.nasa.gov website where the official details lie. So all investments must be used to directly extend the work done in the phase 2 contract. And we are looking for commitments made prior to the award. However, the expenditure of these funds must be concurrent with the CCRPP performance. So we are looking for a letter of commitment to be included with your application, and you can start the process of getting the funds from the investor at that time. But upon receipt, we will then confirm that you have received those funds. These cannot be funds that you had already received prior to ever applying that might have already been spent, and these must be fully funded at time of award, so you cannot get incremental funds after. We will only match what we have at time of award, with the expectation that we are expending these funds in parallel to our funding on the CCRPP award for this cumulative development. For federal agency investors, which can include NASA mission directorates or projects or programs or other government agencies, their investments must pay for activities that further development or commercialization of the technology beyond the phase 2 work, R&D, manufacturing, etc. Non-federal agency investors must provide funding in return for items such as equity, royalties, rights in technology, percentage of the profits, or combinations thereof. And again, funding must further the technology that was started under the original phase 2 contract. As I already mentioned, the investment must occur between the CCRPP proposal package submission date and 45 days after the company's notification of selection without constraints. So if you are selected, you will be notified by someone from the NASA Shared Services Center, a contracting officer or contracting specialist, notifying you of your selection. And at that time, you will have 45 days to provide proof of transfer of funds that occurred in that period. As I also already mentioned, you can have more than one investor. You would need multiple investment letters, multiple proof of funds, but you are allowed to bundle multiple investors in your application. If the investment is coming from a government agency, including or external to NASA, those funds also need to be transferred to the firm on the similar timetable. They will have to be in a funding vehicle separate from the CCRPP contract. This can be done via a separate Phase 3 contract, or if you have an existing contract with the US government, this can be a mod to the contract or a new task on that contract, but it has to be a new thing with the intent that it is co-spent with the execution of the CCRPP. Note that this bullet says in a funding vehicle separate from the Phase 2 contract. That should say in a funding vehicle separate from the CCRPP contract. We will not add other government funding to our CCRPP award. Because you have already had a Phase 2 in order to be able to apply for the CCRPP, that enables you to get a Phase 3. We are happy to also explain how the Phase 3 process works so that you can get that investor's funds as well. A small business cannot contribute its own internal funds as part of the CCRPP investment. These must be external funds. Matching contributions cannot be in kind. They must be in funds regardless of source. And a subcontractor will not qualify as an external investor. An investor cannot say, I will provide you $500,000, but if you win this matching amount for a total of 500 plus 500 equals $1 million, subcontract me back $500,000. We will not allow that. We will only match funds for this development, not to be subcontracted back to the investor. If you have specific questions on how you can use specific facilities from someone while also being an investor, please reach out to the help desk or the contact information on the website, and we happily provide more details on any specific case. And note that on our website, there are plenty of details and unique cases listed which may cover your specific scenario. Note that purchases will also not be considered an investment. A purchase may only represent a procurement need, not a desire to further the technology, and this development must continue to further the technology. For STTR-related CCRP proposals, investments must be in the small business. They cannot be in the university. The small business can then subcontract some of those investment funds back to the university, but it has to go through the small business. Again, please see section 1.5 of the CCRPP website on SBIR.nasa.gov for additional information and restriction on investors. And again, if you have any questions on a particular relationship, if there's a company-investor relationship that you need to know if qualifies, please contact the help desk at the email or phone number listed here or other contact information listed on the website. One other detail we did want to share is that the NASA Flight Opportunities Program, a program separate from the SBIR and STTR program, has an open notice about being potentially interested in as participating as a post-phase 2 investor, either in CCRPP or in the 2E, specifically for the use of suborbital flight testing to help advance development or commercialization of your technology, if it is appropriate to technology development. Their link is shown below, and there is contact information at that link. Note that this, again, is external to the SBIR program. This is another program. Please reach out to them for further details on what would be applicable and how those funds would be expected to be spent. If you have any additional website questions, please visit our website at sbir.nasa.gov. You can also contact the help desk, and on our website, there are additional points of contact listed. For information on this and future mechanisms, please sign up for our newsletter. You can also sign up for that via our website. Thank you very much. Again, this has been an informational overview on the CCRPP mechanism. Please go to the website for the final and official details for this mechanism. Have a great day.